If I told you back in the day that Shanks sacrificed his arm not just to protect a kid, but to defeat Emu, you might not believe me. But after chapter 1152, it's becoming clear that all this time, Shanks was protecting not just Luffy, but the world itself from a much bigger catastrophe. He didn't eat the gum gum fruit himself, nor did his crew. Then why did he go to the length of stealing it in the first place? And why did he steal only the fruit from the ship? He neither destroyed the ship nor steal anything else. Why is he always doing big things like stopping Kaido and Marineford while operating from the shadows and helping Luffy? And what if I told you that by sacrificing his arm off, Luffy didn't hurt Shanks, but instead he saved him? It hasn't been stated explicitly, but chapter 1152 gave us enough points to piece it together, and one of the conclusions I have personally formed is that Shanks was never gonna be the king of pirates, but he was always destined to be the guardian, the bodyguard of Sun God Nika. Not just Luffy, but Nika specifically. And Oda has been giving us hints since the beginning of the story for this. It all starts when in chapter 1138, when Shamrock told us that Shanks once visited Marijua when he was young, which was later confirmed in 1152 that he was at Marijua and there he met King Harold, and they both had some sort of connection which is still to be shown, but it was strong one. Because none of the kings of any other country has such strong ties to Shanks other than Harold, and Oda explicitly went out of his way to show us that they both were really good friends. And Shanks wanted to talk about something with him but couldn't because obviously it's Marijua. But then King Harold got murdered 14 years ago, and when Shanks went to look what happened, there is a strong possibility that he saw some weird world government stuff and lost his complete trust over the world government. Maybe Emu or any of the Holy Knights showing up and murdering Harold possibly. Now interestingly enough, elbaph's legendary devil fruit was also stolen that day. Now you guys might think, what about Loki? Even though it has been heavily implied that he ate the fruit and it was not stolen, it was also implied that he killed the king for it. The people of Elbaph always said that he had a deep desire for that devil fruit and that's why he killed the king, which he clearly didn't. Even though he might have disagreed politically with Harold, he loved his father, and when Harold's murder was revealed, he wasn't the one doing it, but witnessing it. If he really ate the fruit, it should have been shown in this panel or at least hinted, but instead we get this mysterious figure approaching the devil fruit. Although I can completely see it being the case that he ate the devil fruit, there is a strong possibility, knowing how much ties elbaph has to Sun God Nika, that the fruit was not eaten by Loki and instead that fruit was none other than the gum gum fruit. And it ties in perfectly because 14 years ago Harold was murdered and 12 to 13 years ago Huzu was arrested. That means Shanks stole the gum gum fruit almost 12 to 13 years ago. There is just like 1 or 2 years difference where I think Shanks formed his crew after witnessing Harold's murder and losing trust. He had to get that fruit back from whoever who stole it so he can protect it and pass it to the right person, because elbaph is kingless right now, and if Shanks returns the fruit to elbaph, the government can easily get it back as there is nobody to guard it. The other thing that supports this is that Shanks didn't steal much, nor did he destroy the Cypher Pole ship. He just stole the fruit and left, and at the same time never ate it. It's weird, as if he knew what the fruit was and he knew that the fruit wasn't for him, but he has to protect it. Now here I realized one big plot hole is that if the fruit was stolen by a Holy Knight or Emu, how did it end up in a Cypher Pole ship? To which I don't even have to answer because Saint Tanas Juro clearly stated that the fruit's behavior is weird. They have been trying to capture it, but it keeps slipping away from the government's hand. Knowing the nature of Nika, I 100% believe that somehow that fruit was kept near a window, it fell down and got lost and maybe was found by the Cypher Pole somewhere or ended up in a Cypher Pole ship. Knowing Oda, I can 100% see a cartoony way that the gum gum fruit just, escaped Marijua on its own. Because zones have will and I think the fruit can do it. And knowing how goofy Nika is, I can assure there has to be some cartoony way it escaped out of Marijua. Then came our boy Luffy and he just simply ate it. No explanations, no big theories, it was just a kid who was hungry and frustrated. But here's the thing, it isn't just that Luffy ate the fruit, but Zoans have a will and that fruit wanted Luffy to eat it. Because if there was a fruit who kept slipping from the hands of a power of the world government, why wouldn't it get slipped from the hands of a boy? It's because the fruit chose him, along with Shanks, who guarded not only Luffy but he saw not just Roger's will in Luffy but Nika Fruit's approval as well, and decided to protect Luffy at all cost, paving a path for him, alerting people like Rayleigh and Gaban before his arrival, and even stopping Marineford because Luffy was in no condition at that point to do something. And that was also the reason he guarded Elbaph, not Fishman Island, which was free, not Wano, where Shanks had prior connections, not any poneglyphs, but Elbaph, because Elbaph literally has all the secrets to Nika, where Nika was actively worshipped as a god, unlike other countries where he was just a myth. And to end this explanation, if you notice, Shanks never flinched after seeing Luffy's gear fire. So as if he knew it was gonna happen. And he always holds his left arm and smiles, when in actuality it has to be a traumatic situation for him because he lost an arm, but all he does is smiles. Because that same arm had a government tattoo on it. Most likely the abyss mark of Emu, and Luffy freed Shanks from making him sacrifice the same arm. Making Shanks not just a child of destiny, which I think personally Shanks rejected that philosophy because he knew he wasn't the child of destiny and someone else is, so he made sure to be the protector of him, the protector of Sun God Nika. If you're new to this, do consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, bye bye.